This is the first in a series of videos that's going to look at how we solve trigonometric equations. So let's start off with a simple equation, and we're solving this on an interval between 0 and 360. The first thing I do is I want to isolate the trigonometric function, so I'm going to rewrite this as sine theta is equal to 2 over 3. So all I've done there is I've divided both sides of my equation by 3, and then I can work out the value of theta by using a calculator to find sine inverse of 2/3. Now when I do that, my calculator tells me that the solution is 41.8 degrees. Now trigonometric equations have multiple solutions, and I'm going to show you two different methods for each of these questions as how we can find the rest of these solutions. The first method is going to be using the unit circle. So I draw myself out a unit circle, and on the unit circle we know that this axis here is going to be my sine theta axis. The value of sine theta was 2/3, so 2/3 is going to be about here, and I'm just going to draw a horizontal line through that point. This gives me my two solutions, one solution here and one solution here. The first solution, as we've found from our calculator, is at 41.8 degrees. The other solution is over here. Now obviously this is symmetric, so the angle underneath here is going to be 41.8 degrees. So to work out the angle to this point, what I'm going to need to do is 180 minus 41.8 degrees, which is going to give me my second solution, which is 138.2 degrees. So there we have it. Those are my two solutions. So one at 41.8 and the other one at 138.2. Now I said I was going to show you two methods, so here's the second method. Rather than drawing out a unit circle, I'm drawing out a sine curve. I do the same thing, sine of 2/3, which is about here, so that's going to give me then two solutions, one at this point and one at this point. My calculator tells me that that first solution is 41.8, so there we have 41.8, and then I would use symmetry to then work out this other solution. So I've gone forward 41.8 from this point, so I go backwards 41.8 from 180, and that's going to tell me my other solution here is 138.2. Next example, we're going to look this time at a cosine graph. Notice how this time the range has changed. So I'm looking at answers, or solutions rather, in the range from minus 180 degrees to 180 degrees. So no difference to start with. I want to isolate cosine, so I'm going to write this down as cosine theta is equal to minus 1/4. So theta is equal to cosine inverse of minus 1/4. And again, I go to my calculator, and my calculator is telling me that the answer here is 104.4 degrees. So, method 1. I'm on my unit circle. This time I'm thinking about cosine theta, and cosine theta is on this axis. So there's my cosine theta axis. Cosine theta is minus 1/4, so that puts me somewhere here, with solutions at this point and this point. So let's draw those in. So this angle round to this point, that was the one the calculator told me, that's 104.4 degrees. What I need to do is to find this other solution. Now this time my theta range has changed, so instead of going from 0 all the way around to 360, I'm going from 0 to 180, and then I'm going to go from 0 back the opposite direction to minus 180. So I'm looking for the angle here, which is going to be minus 104.4 by symmetry. So my solutions are 104.4 and minus 104.4. The second way of doing this is obviously again by drawing the graph, but this time, rather than drawing the graph from 0 to 360, I'm drawing the graph from minus 180 to 180. I do the same thing, only this time I need to remember that my cosine value goes on this axis. There's my cosine theta value. It's minus 1/4, which is going to put me through here. So there's my one value, there's my second value. The calculator tells me that this value here is at 104.4, and again I just use the idea of symmetry to then find this value here, which is at minus 104.4. Final example. This time I've got something involving sine and cosine, not something that I'm able to solve, so we're going to rearrange this to have sine theta over cosine theta is equal to 3 divided by 4. Another way of writing down sine theta over cosine theta is to say that this is tan theta, which is equal to 3 over 4. Let's just change that theta. So again, I go to my calculator and I would work out that theta is tan inverse of 3/4, which is 36.9 degrees. Now, method 1. This is slightly different. My axes are sine theta and cosine theta. I don't have a tan theta axis, but I do know that tan of 45 is 1. Whoops, where are we going here? So tan of 45 would be 1. I've got tan of 3/4, so that's going to give me an angle which I know is going to be less than 45 degrees, and in fact we've already worked it out, haven't we? We knew that this angle here was 36.9. Now to find my other solution, what I do is I extend my line through the 0 out to the other side, and my other solution will be here. Now this time, to find my other solution, I know that this is 36.9 degrees, so I'm simply going to add on 180 to get my next solution. So 36.9 degrees add on 180 degrees is going to give me my next solution, which comes in at, where's my diagram gone? 216.9 degrees. Now this time, my interval goes from 0 to 540. So this is 0, there's my first solution, past 180 to my second solution, to 360. Now I pass 360 and I'll come to another solution. That's going to be at 396.9. Now I pass that and carry on going on my journey, and I end up around here at 540 degrees, and at this point I then stop, because if I were to go any further I would be out of range. So my complete solution set is 36.9, 216.9 and 396.9 degrees. As I say, the other way of doing this is then to draw the graph. So here is a tan graph drawn out over the appropriate range from 0 to 540. We're drawing on 3/4, so that's going to be a line that goes through here, and I've got solutions at this point, and this point. Here at 36.9, add on 180, which is the periodicity of this function, so there's 216.9, and finally here is 396.9. I would suggest that you don't flick between the two methods, that you pick a method that you prefer and stick with that one. Just make sure that you're always looking at the ranges. People often miss solutions by forgetting to analyse that range fully. And that's it.